hardest part about it is knowing that you only have 7 days.
Yeah.
Because that's freaky. Like, what do you do with that week?
Yeah. You're like,
And then you don't believe it either.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't really use your time wisely.
oh, for sure.
Because
You spend at least 2 days being like,
is this real?
You know what else is exciting? This podcast.
It is very exciting and scary.
And scary, guys. Welcome to another episode of
Katie Afraidy.
I will still be your host, Katie Hettenbach. That's me. Hi. Hilarious, the wonderful, the Elvis Presley lover, Macey Isaacs.
Yes. I was talking to my mom on the phone and I was asking her opinion on something. And she said, well, it's like Dr. Phil always says. And she paused. And I was like, Mom? She goes, I can't remember what he says. And she couldn't remember. And I was like, oh, well, now what do I do with this information?
Yeah.
So I Googled a lot of Dr. Phil's
you're
sayings.
like, is this what you meant?
Yeah. And she was like, no. And then like a week later, I was on the phone with my therapist. I still do it by phone because she moved out of state. That's not important to the story.
Yeah, that's okay.
But she goes, and it's like Dr. Phil always says, I swear. And she quoted Dr. Phil and said, you teach people how to treat you.
Okay.
And I could not believe that in that moment, my life came sort of full circle and that answer had been solved, like had been answered. That question had been answered. And I asked my mom and she said, yes, that was what
Okay,
I
was
going
to say, was that? She's like, no, not
that one. That would be
at all.
funny
That
too.
would-
That'd be a good episode. But no,
Yeah.
this was just a good moment to finally have the answer.
That's good. I'm so glad that. And your therapist, you know?
And my therapist and my mom don't know each other. So
Everything's connected.
I know.
Everything makes sense.
Everything makes sense.
Everything makes
Yeah.
sense.
Everything is good.
Everything's good. Everything's great. So when initially, before we did the 12 days of Compass, we had you do The Shining, but you're like, oh, this movie terrified me as a child.
Yes.
I would love to do it. And I was like, we will bring you back.
And you followed through.
Oh, I followed through. Oh,
Yeah.
it might be 7-8 months later,
Oh, that's
but
not a big deal.
you
Time
know what?
is no.
time isn't real.
No.
But you were terrified as a child over this movie, The Ring, 2002.
Yes, and I believe I watched it in 2003-ish, maybe. It was still fresh, but it was on. Well, I don't know. Would it be on DVD or was it VHS? No, it was DVD by then.
Yeah,
It was DVD by then. You
both
could
still.
But yeah, you could still, if you had
Yeah.
a VHS, you would still be able to play it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I watched it over at a friend's house. It was like a sleepover, and I closed my eyes the whole time. Except for one time I opened my eyes, and it was I've learned after rewatching, it was when Naomi Watts is outside and the train goes by behind her, and that's when I opened my eyes and I screamed because the train scared me. So I just closed my eyes the rest of the movie. And you know what? I slept just fine after watching it now as an adult.
Yeah.
I watched it at night too.
Oh, that was-
Lights off.
wow.
I know. I'm pretty tough,
I'm so
is what I've learned.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you. I feel like it's interesting, those movies that scare us as kids, and you watch them now and you're like, okay, I can see why I was scared, but like I'm an adult now, like that doesn't like scare me as much.
Right. And I think I actually was more scared by not watching it. I think closing my eyes was worse.
Yeah, because your imagination's taking over. You probably thought the movie was about trains.
Yeah, I thought it.
You
Yeah.
open your eyes and there's just a train.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't look into the train
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, I think, and that's a good metaphor for life because, sometimes your mind makes it worse than it really is.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's exactly what happened.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed watching it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Where is it in your life, The Ring?
The Ring, I think I watched it. I think I've watched pieces of it. I don't think I've ever watched the full thing through. I think I've watched it like when it was on like TV and stuff. Like it'd be like, oh, it's like the last 20 minutes of The Ring. And at that
It's
time,
an easy watch.
It's an easy chill watch. Just
Throw
jump
that
in
on.
20 minutes.
Like great quotes.
Yeah, it's really, it's an easy movie. Just jump in at any point. You'll pick it up. But it was at that point in my life when I didn't care about like movies as much, so I would just jump in anywhere. But now I'm like, nope, I need to watch it from the beginning. I need to do that unless I know the movie by heart. And it's like any Adam Sandler movie, you can just jump in. Like that's fine. But like The Ring, I think you need to start from the beginning to like.
You'll have a lot of questions. Even if
Yeah.
you watch the whole thing, you still have questions. So you kind of need to watch it from the beginning.
Yeah, but this was my first time like actually sitting down and watching the full thing, and it was interesting. It was a fun watch though.
And then I, obviously did not know it was Naomi Watts. Did not know it was the dad from Succession.
Yes, Adam Brody.
Adam Brody
makes a little cameo.
Amber Tamblyn in the
Yes.
beginning. That was really fun.
That was wild. They the opening with the two girls.
Yeah.
My first instinct was like, why are they in
Catholic school uniforms.
that? I was just more like, why are they in button ups hanging out? Like Catholic school. But then I realized that that's because it's originally this was a Japanese horror film. I think it was called Rango.
Okay.
Something like Rango.
Okay.
In like the 90s, and this was
I knew it was
direct.
originally Japanese. So why does that have to do with button ups?
Because the Japanese school uniforms.
Okay. Because as I went to Catholic school, so when I watched it, I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
sometimes you do change if you wear a uniform to school, you change because you want to be more comfortable. But sometimes you're too tired.
Yeah.
And you just keep it on.
Okay.
So I think that was, their situation, especially because one of them wasn't at their house, so they didn't have their clothes.
Yeah.
So she just came over after school.
Yeah.
But they were untucked. They were loose.
They're hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're getting crazy, untucked and unbuttoned, but only the 3 buttons in the middle and not the top or the bottom.
Oh, right.
Because,
Yeah.
Essential thing.
Yes, of course.
But that was the weird thing that I initially saw, and I was like, why am I stuck on this
right
part? I don't know. I was like, the first thing, why are they in button-ups? I'm stuck. I'm already confused. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fine.
It was pretty quick though. I'd say we're out of button ups pretty soon. You don't have to worry about that too long.
They Katie is her name, and I was like, every time I say Katie,
fun.
I was like, my name's Katie.
Do you jolt every time they say it?
Sometimes I'm like, that's me, and I'm like, oh, it's another person. So, but she explains like, oh, my friends and I watched this creepy video 7 days ago. You watch it, and you get a phone call, and it says you have 7 days, then you die or whatever. That video itself
that's scary,
terrifying. It's very. I wrote down. I was like German expressionism / film school bullshit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a teenager sort of who made it, right? So, and it shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it was freaky, but it was art trying to be artistic.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like the thing of now we've seen it. That's cool.
Yeah. I feel like the only way to watch this movie is on like with a DVD or with a VHS or something.
I know.
Because if you saw it in theaters, I feel like it doesn't get the same effect.
That's true. Because I watched it streaming now.
Yeah.
Right. And so they can't get me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch a tape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How would that's interesting. How would that work if it was?
Yeah. Also, I just realized that was remember earlier when I was like the DVD question? They used a tape in that movie. I think DVDs obviously existed.
Yeah.
But they were still using tape.
Yeah.
So, just something
No,
that I could have answered my own question.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. This is what this podcast is all about.
Okay.
Answering your own questions.
Got it.
It's beautiful. It's brilliant. See, full circle.
Yeah. Once again, we'll do another circle in a bit.
We got it. I love that Katie walks around the house, and then she's like, oh, I'm scared, whatever. But then she actually gets the phone call, and the water coming from the room. Initially, I was like, why are you going? Why are you gonna go there? Why don't go in the room? So my question to you is, would you go in the room?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't watch the tape though.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking, so she got Katie's Amber Tamblyn.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
So she got the call 7 days ago, right?
Yeah.
Did she get another call?
That's what I was confused about.
No, that was a fake one.
That was a fake
one. She was just like joking with her friend.
Scared
Right,
and
right, right.
stuff.
No, I wouldn't go towards, but I guess if like something's leaking, you know, if you're
Yeah.
thinking, oh no, my plumbing.
Oh no.
Oh no, I need to call a plumber.
need a
You
mop.
first have to look
Yeah.
at where it's coming from so you can tell the plumber under the sink or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I would go in
Yeah.
and assess the situation.
And then, instantly you get we don't actually see what Samara does
No.
to them. We see the aftermath, but we don't see how she does it.
I actually think something too that doesn't scare me about this movie is it's really not a bad way to die. It's really quick.
Yeah.
And obviously you're not pretty to look at once it happens.
Yeah.
But that's why it's a closed casket.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they did for all of her victims.
You cremate.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
cremate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's quick, and I think the hardest part about it is knowing that you only have 7 days.
Yeah.
Because that's freaky. Like, what do you do with that week?
Yeah. You're like,
And then you don't believe it either. So
Yeah.
it's like you don't really use your time wisely
oh, for sure.
because is this real?
Yeah. You spend at least 2 days being like,
Is this real? And then your nose bleeds and you're like, I think it's still, I get
Yeah,
nosebleeds.
like that's a normal human.
Yeah, I went
thing.
to the mountains.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And the way that Katie was reacting to this stuff, like oh, I'm not gonna die, but clearly this was her 7th day. Like throughout the movie, we see
Things
that
happen.
things happen. So
She
has she just not seen those things happen?
I don't know. I know as a teenager, you're very busy.
Yeah,
You know,
hormones
and, she probably just was so overwhelmed for like a biology test
true.
that she saw things, but she didn't have time.
Yeah, she has to study.
She has to study. I'm sure she was a volleyball player. And I could
she
see
seems
volleyball,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so she probably had a game.
Yeah.
And so she probably thought, oh, maybe that's just somebody in the audience, like in the stands. But no, it was a vision.
It's a vision.
Yeah.
It's real. It's Samara, who also, I don't know if you knew this,
I'd love to know.
that the little girl who played Samara is the voice of Lilo and Stitch, or Lilo from Lilo and Stitch.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great fun fact. So wait, that little girl, because she didn't really talk a lot in
No, but when you hear her talk, it's Lilo,
that's really funny.
and you're like, Ohana means family.
Ohana means family, a Hawaiian roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
That's great. And for my Elvis shirt, that's great. Bring up Lilo and Stitch. There's another circle.
Wow. Look at, which circle's ring
The ring
is a
that's why.
circle.
It is. I do have a big question for you that I
Yes.
need you to explain.
Okay.
So, the mom
Okay.
of Samara,
Yes.
she had a lot of miscarriages.
Yeah.
Really was trying to get pregnant, couldn't get pregnant. And then but the psychiatrist says they came back and they adopted this girl. But then when Naomi Watts is going through paperwork, she sees some paperwork that says, I didn't realize this, but I was reading online afterwards. It says it's actually their biological daughter.
The
Succession dad and the mom.
okay.
Like they really gave birth to that.
Okay.
To Samara.
Yeah.
Samara.
Smart.
Do you know if she was adopted or not? Because I didn't catch that. I
didn't
thought
catch
she was
that either.
adopted.
I thought she was.
Or did you?
I thought
You
she was
thought
the
actual daughter?
I thought actual daughter.
Well,
Because
I mean, that's what online said, but I just believed the psychiatrist. I felt like
Yeah.
she made it sound like they just came back and had this, like they got the daughter,
Yeah.
they adopted her.
Because it seemed like, because the mom was always like, oh, I want this kid. I want this kid.
It's like she made a deal with the devil,
And
I
she's
guess.
like, she might have like, whatever she did to like get me
Get
pregnant.
finally get pregnant.
Please, I'll do anything at that point. And then the husband was like, I don't.
That's a story I want.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be an interesting like prequel?
Yeah.
Is how she got pregnant. It's kind of Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I would like-
Have you watched that for this podcast?
I've watched it, but not for the podcast.
It's pretty scary.
It's-
that scared me
That movie's
as
terrifying.
an adult
Yeah.
because that's it's not like a quick death. That's like you gave birth to Satan.
Yeah.
That's bad. That sticks. Stays with you.
That makes me not want to have children.
No, well, especially because kids these days they don't move out at 18.
Yeah. They
So
stay forever.
Satan, if your kid's Satan, they're in the basement.
They're in the
forever.
basement forever.
You can't get rid of them.
No. They're consuming souls.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jeremy,
Mm-hmm.
hey,
Right.
Can't do this. I don't know why you'd name it Jeremy.
Jeremy.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Jeremy,
Kind of could be devilly.
I mean,
I could see Jeremy.
or it's still your son. But
Yeah.
But
Well, it could be half.
is it a grown man?
No, I think he grows
Is
up.
It
I think, yeah.
and he lives forever then.
Mm-hmm.
Or does he have like a normal human life because he came out of a human?
Mm-hmm.
These are questions that.
Mm-hmm. I think he's half, so
Okay.
a half-blood prince situation. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he lives maybe like 500 years and not 1,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he gives birth to more.
He
He doesn't.
okay. Got
Well,
it.
maybe he does. Maybe
He's
he does.
like a
he's his own.
seahorse.
Yeah, he's his own.
Yeah.
He is she.
Seahorse.
There are only one seahorse gendered,
No, seahorses.
The boys?
male seahorses give birth.
but there are still girls.
Yes.
And they go to work or.
yes. They do the
It's
work.
very gender. The gender norms are very like 1950s. It's just swapped.
Yes.
Whew. So the seahorses, the men seahorses, they're tired. They're in the kitchen
They're in the
all
kitchen
day.
All day. They're like.
I've seen Mad Men. It's
the
not
wife-
easy.
The wife comes home, just make me a sandwich.
Drunk. They've been drinking all day at the
my
office.
God, all
For some
day.
reason, that's okay.
They have a hot male secretary
That's right.
they've been hanging out with a little bit too long at the office.
Yep.
Hard days at the office.
And this male seahorse have to turn the blind eye.
Turn a blind eye. Yep.
God, what a hard life.
God, to be a seahorse.
Well, they'll have their men's lib in like 10 years and they'll be okay.
Yeah.
They're just behind the times.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know about seahorses.
I got you.
Yeah.
Got you. We got off on.
Well, it's
like, a fun
actually,
little-
it makes sense because horses are a big part of the ring.
What a look at you transitioning and tying it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
I didn't like that part, really bothered me,
That-
actually.
the horse death,
Suicide.
suicide,
Really, that was the worst part of the movie for me.
that got me.
Especially because they did have to rile up the horse somehow.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they upset it so much.
Yeah, and also like I don't know. I like obviously the horse is alive or probably
Right.
or the horse is fine. It's not
Still had a
actually
bad
opportune-
day, I
Bad
think.
day on set.
Yeah.
But also to see it in the water and struggling, like it's
And
different.
it didn't look real, but it did.
It did. And like I would have rather them like shoot the horse. I'd rather seen that.
Oh, yeah.
Then-
I would rather the horse had been Samara'd.
Yeah,
Like the
literally,
victims.
anything
than jumping for its life and then getting caught in the propeller and then bleeding out.
That's terrifying.
And then the girl, my horse.
yeah. No. And then she's just screaming and then that's
Yeah, that was, and I guess the horse just freaked out because he could sense, right?
Yeah,
Naomi
something was
Watts had the situation, or something
Yeah.
was wrong. Okay.
which is just it's so sad. I wrote, I was like, not the horse scene. I want the horse scene. Jesus fuck.
Horses must have, horse sense. You're a little too young, but
No,
horse
sense, yeah.
You remember horse sense? Okay, so they must really know what they're sensing.
Yeah.
If they had a whole original movie called Horse Sense, and
Yeah.
now in the ring they're freaking out.
Yeah. I think they are like, they always say that horses, like, you're supposed to be calm around them because they can, like, sense your energy.
And I feel like I heard Whitney Cummings on a podcast talk about she works a lot with horses.
Yeah, she's a huge horse girl.
Yeah.
Her entire house is filled with horses. She has a horse bedroom.
So don't say, have you seen The Ring? If I ever run into her,
Yeah. I'd be
don't
like,
lead with
have you
that.
seen The Ring? There's
Yeah,
like
you like horses? Have you seen The Ring?
bunch of stuff with horses. It's super fun.
Beautiful horses.
Beautiful, stunning stallions. Stunning.
They are.
They are beautiful, but they meet a quick demise.
they do.
Quick. Again, just shoot again. I don't want any animals to die, but if you're gonna do it,
Make it quick.
make it quick on film. Like we know it's a movie and it's but yeah,
That was bad.
that was bad.
Do you know much about the little boy?
The little boy, the creepy little boy, who's now apparently not an actor but a lawyer.
Isn't that just an actor though?
That's just an actor. They're like, I was a kid actor
With
now
steady
I'm-
pay.
I love that. Good for him. But he is the creepiest little kid.
You think he'll be the bad guy?
Yeah, he's.
I guess he kind of is.
He's given Damien.
Pardon me.
How dare you? He's giving Damien from The Omen, giving Malachi kind of from Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a grown adult in a kid's body. It's very creepy.
Now, question about those two, because I have not seen those two. I remember Damien and everything. The Omen and Children of the Corn. How I remember Children of the Corn really scared people, but it's from like the 80s, right?
Yeah.
So have you watched that recently, and is it scary? Because sometimes I feel like actually the older ones are scarier.
Yeah, it depends. The Omen I watched for the first time maybe a couple months ago. Super creepy. It was really good.
And that's like Around the Ring, right? Time?
No, that's
older?
I think that's like 80s, 90s.
Okay.
Am I right, John?
John can check that out.
I can check it out. So the original Omen
80s?
was 1976.
70s.
Oh,
my
it
God,
is old.
Yeah.
So but they kept doing them?
I think there's
Well, there's a remake
because
from 2006, which is around the time of The Ring.
Right.
so and
that's Damien.
that's Damien.
Okay.
It's all for you, Damien. Suicide. More suicides. But Children of the Corn is campy
Oh, okay.
and silly, but also
Are they like siblings that sleep with each other?
yes, and it's a lot of just like
Because that's scary.
kids
Kids are scary.
just on their own with no adults, and they're gonna kill any adult that walks into the cornfield and stuff like that. It's been a minute since I've seen it, but
That's fine. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
no, it's all
about
good.
A
It's all
different
good.
Movie.
It's all good. But it's my mom would refer to
Yes.
my brother and I as
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn, come up for dinner.
Which means you're a killer.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. She also called me.
Or you were also in the Midwest, so didn't you just eat a lot of corn?
Yeah,
Could that have been it? Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, but I was like, she still does it to this day, and I'm like, okay. Hey. I was like, no wonder I like horror movies so much, because even when I was like 1, she called me Linda Blair, who is
Blair
from
Witch?
the Exorcist.
Oh.
Linda Blair is the girl who does.
Oh, yes, it says spinny head.
So I was like, oh, okay. I'm a toddler. I'm having a tantrum. Refer to me as the Exorcist. Okay.
You were probably throwing up as well.
Probably.
I would like to think that's.
Yeah, my head does spin a little bit.
Is it really flexible?
Super flexible. Yeah. Like an owl, just flip around. But yeah, there weren't any owls in this movie though. Just a lot of maggots.
Yeah, the video was disgusting.
Which the maggots, I didn't see this when I watched it, but I was listening to a few podcasts about it. Because sometimes I like, or especially with these kinds of movies, I like miss stuff. And I feel like I have to like go back and like, I don't want to rewatch it. I want to hear someone else talk about it so I can pinpoint it. But they were saying that the maggots turn into dead bodies in the video. And I was like,
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, there's like all these little things in that video that are so like, you're like, oh, I'm grossed out. I just see
I
one
kind of
thing.
closed my eyes during the maggots. And there was a centipede at one point. I closed my eyes for that.
Those are gross.
Yeah, that was. I would say though it was a wild ride, and I thought it was interesting how the dad ended up killing himself.
Yes,
as well.
Which that scene was
crazy,
horrendous, and also kind of excessive.
Did he do it just because they were talking about? Because what he did is he basically electrocuted himself in the bathtub, but with so many wires.
Yeah,
and
I was
so
like,
many
I think
VCRs.
Done it with just one.
I think the one. But I think he was afraid it wasn't going to work. Like he really had to kill himself or something.
But he also used a horse. Like
he did the bit thing.
The bit, yeah,
that's right. He did do that. And
which I was like, why are you doing that? Was that because it was metal and it was like attached?
I guess.
I was like, are you?
I mean, he's the deadest I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's very dead. As soon as he hit the switch.
Yeah.
Which honestly, that was kind of an interesting setup to have it on the switch. I was like, that's an interesting setup. I don't know. That's where I was. I was like,
he's probably good at electricity and stuff.
He's pretty crafty. I was like, okay, look at you. Wow.
Yeah. You give me an extension cord, I'm like, what do I do with this? He knows.
He knows. He's got it. He's got, everything. It's not what is the extender, or what is it? There's a different word for
There's
it.
like the power strip.
Power strip. There it is. Yeah.
Power strip.
Look at you. You know. Yeah.
I maybe know more than I think. Yeah, and also there was one point where Samara says, "But my daddy doesn't know."
Yeah.
And I don't know what that was referring to.
Yeah.
Have you seen the sequel and
No,
stuff?
I haven't seen the sequel. I've heard the Ring 2. I've heard is okay. I heard that Rings, which was a short film, but then it came out, I think, in like 2010-ish. That one has like a 2% on like Rotten Tomatoes and shit. So that one's apparently really bad.
So Troll 2 is better than that.
Yes. Oh, always and forever. Always and forever. And I'm making sure of it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's kind of I kind of would like to see a 2% if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah.
Let me look up my notes real quick and make sure
You're
that I remembered all of my thoughts about The Ring.
The heavy blue tones in the film was very.
I liked it.
You liked it? Okay.
What were you gonna say? Pretend I didn't just say that.
That's okay. It depends on the movie. Like I feel like Twilight.
I know. Maybe that's why I liked it.
That's
it reminded me of Twilight. In Seattle, I feel like they have to do that.
Yeah, they wanted to do that because to give it like a more sickly feeling or whatever. But like, I don't know. I thought it was like way too much. I feel like they could have just toned it down just a hair.
They probably could have,
and it would have been worked just as fine.
Yeah,
but I think obviously it did what it needed to do, but it was uncomfortable to look at.
Yeah,
so I think they did it. But yeah,
Twilight just made me think of vampires, which then just made me think of Interview with the Vampire, the TV show.
Oh,
have you?
Is that
dabbled into that?
No, but I've heard about that.
The reason actually why I started it was because Justin Martindale on Just Saying said it was good. And so I had it on my list. It's so good. And I've seen the movie.
Yeah. And like it's good.
And it's good.
But
it's also like they don't have enough time in the movie. And I was like, at first I was like, is this good? When I was watching the show, I was like, or is this just cheesy and I like it? And then I read enough other people saying, no, it's really good, that I can now say, no, it's actually really good.
You had to read?
Yeah, I need other people
to
make sure
like really
I'm right.
Make sure you're like,
yeah, no, I'll change my opinion.
That's fair. Same.
If they tell me to. Yeah.
It's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should watch that though, because it's a fun, like, before, but it's kind of like I don't know why you have to be guilty. It doesn't need to be a guilty pleasure. It can just be a pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. I love those shows and even movies that are just like, you're like, this might be good. This might be terrible, but I'm going to watch the whole thing.
And there's a lot of blood in this TV show, like so much blood.
That's wow. Okay,
you like that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like blood, right?
You do horror at the store. You better like blood.
There actually that's a great tie-in. There was not a lot of blood in this film.
No.
Or really that much violence because it is PG-13.
Get out of here, really.
Which is wild.
I guess, yeah. And what's kind of crazy about that is I was maybe 13 when I watched it and I thought I was too young. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. I almost wish there was a little bit more. I wish they would have pushed it for R, because I'm curious what, obviously we see the aftermath.
Yeah, what else do we need to see?
Of what Samara does, but like, how does she do that?
Yeah.
And I would like to see the transition from, oh, you just looked to you shriveling up and looking like
you want it all,
like a corpse,
sort of like a banana that goes bad.
Yeah,
that
I think I have a few in my apartment.
Think you can then use for banana bread.
At a certain point, you kind of can, but it's like if it's black, you don't.
Okay, I've never, because it seems like I've never made banana bread, but it seems like there is that thing of like, bring me your, some people, not a lot of people in my life say bring me your old bananas, but I have had one person be like, bring me your old bananas.
Okay.
So, but there is a point where they're too old. You're telling me.
There is a point.
Okay.
The one in my apartment currently is the color of this chick.
Okay.
Yeah. So that might I think
Be
it's
too old for anything.
Little past.
That's been Samara'd.
Yeah.
Samara'd.
Literally.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough. Yeah. It's like we had trouble with we're like.
Oh yeah, Kubrick and Kubrick.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
But I'm just trying to say everything right.
Yeah.
Do everything right.
And hey, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Is the way I'm holding this okay?
You're doing great.
I feel like my posture's bad, but
I always think thank you for reminding me also because
but the chairs kind
it's hard
of
to, like sit in them and like what to do and like
and it's such a soft chair.
backdrop and you're like backdrop. Where did that come from? I don't
Backstrap.
know. Backstrap. So I didn't want to say this because I was looking up some trivia.
Please.
So, the on the actual DVD, the cursed video is available as an Easter egg. So you select look here and press down and your cursor will disappear. Press enter. This has an interesting feature. Your remote control is now disabled. Once the video has started playing, you can't stop, pause it, fast forward it, or return to the menu unless you turn off the TV. You're forced to watch the whole thing. When it's over, the DVD returns to the menu. Then you hear a phone ring twice before you're given control over your remote.
No.
How
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, I hate that.
Yeah.
If it happened to me, but
I'd cry.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Huh. But if you can't use your remote, can you not turn the TV off? Or can you not just fast forward or pause?
It's saying you can't.
Yeah,
right?
it's saying you can't. How does it know? That's smart.
It must be able to disable the.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
You would be able to, like it said, turn the entire TV off.
Yeah,
but maybe the DVD. It's wow. Yeah. That's really. That kind of makes me miss DVDs.
I love DVDs. Oh, I love DVDs.
And great. Because like you could get all that bonus content, and I miss owning something.
Yes,
like it's mine.
Yeah,
it's my DVD, and even if I own something on iTunes, when it's not even called that anymore, whatever, or like you buy it on Amazon, it's not mine.
Yeah.
That's and I have to have Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's in the cloud.
Like you want to have a DVD player, you want to physically put it in, you want to hit play, you want to watch those special features, you want to watch the director's commentary.
Exactly. That's so fun.
Yeah, it's insane. And they also they would just play it on TV, so they'd play the video of like with the maggots and stuff just randomly on TV.
Oh, as like a trailer, not a trailer,
not even trailer. They wouldn't even tell about the movie. They just would play it, and no one would know for like months before the film. And they also put the VHS tapes on people's cars.
Wow.
And we're just like having people, so it was just they were running amok with this.
Wow.
In New York City, they were leaving them on the subway cars.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I mean, I think Barbie kind of did the same thing.
Yeah,
seems like with their marketing, it was everywhere.
It's not as terrifying,
but
still, it's a lot more like
I'm Ken.
Cute.
Yeah, no, I'm Ken. Yeah. But yes, that's really crazy. But I like a VHS. I was talking about how just like a DVD. DVD's great, because you have all the options of the director's cut and everything. But I do like a tangible VHS because you can just leave it on a subway. It's not going to get hurt.
Yeah,
it's fine.
You could throw it at a wall and it'll be okay.
I was walking down Sunset yesterday and I saw a Barney. It was white VHS Barney DVD, not DVD, VHS. And it had a key attached to it. Like, that's the restroom key at a place. Isn't that
a good Barney episode, though? Like,
do you know Mattel's going to make a Barney movie? So
I also heard they're making a Polly Pocket movie.
That's great, too.
I know. But
wow.
Right?
They're also making an Uno movie. It's getting out of hand. I don't know what an Uno movie is going to be about.
If it's not a horror, I feel like the
reverse.
If it was like a horror movie though, with those things, like with like Monopoly, make a Monopoly, like make it into a horror movie somehow. That would be interesting. Instead of being like it's a family friendly kids movie. Like no, just screw us up.
I think they might, because like Barbie wasn't really a kids movie.
Yeah.
So
that was
I think
very much
that was for adults.
Yeah.
So I think because I think Barney is going to be like what happened to Barney after Barney. I don't know.
Oh
well,
my
I mean,
God.
yeah, no, I think things are going to be dark.
It'll go full Winnie the Pooh the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And just like he turns into a serial killer, and the years after, and
that movie. What was that? Just called Pooh or something?
Oh, Winnie the Pooh. Wait, the
horror one.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I believe we've been John's been trying to get us to review it, and I want to still.
Yeah,
but I just
wow.
Other movies come up, priorities.
Right, like The Ring.
Like The Ring. The Ring is a priority.
It's classic.
It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
Also, something that was really uncomfortable in this movie for a lot of people, according to being online and all the podcasts I was listening to.
Probably not for me.
The little boy calling his mom by
I love
first
that.
name. Yeah,
I thought it was a great addition.
yeah.
Because it was also showing like how, because he kind of raised himself. They were very hard on a single mom.
Yeah. Do you think that was too extreme? Like how the little boy, like the character of like, yep, I'm making my own sandwich. Now I'm like your roommate. Oh, we have a funeral to go to. I picked out your dress. I also ironed
zipper.
it.
He said something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of liked it.
Okay,
I thought that was funny.
It added to his creepiness of art.
Right.
Like,
He's almost like an adult. And that was actually kind of what he was like in real life. Because I guess he went to Harvard at like 13 or something crazy.
What the fuck?
He was like, he got his law degree like really, really young.
Jesus.
So he was that was maybe improv. Honestly, he maybe did pick out her dress.
He's like, that outfit's trash.
Yeah.
Those shoes don't match. Let me pick something.
And the wardrobe girl's like, girl, that's sexist. It could be a wardrobe person.
Yeah.
Also, what's the word I'm looking for even? The costume. The costume designer.
Costume designer. Yeah.
I don't even remember what I was going to say, but just he probably was like, I've got this.
Yeah. I might be 6.
Right.
But I know.
Well, because even at the end, she was like, you helped her? You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. He's like, he's like, but you're safe now. He's like, no,
you actually released her.
And
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, which again, that was like,
I don't really get it.
Confusing. And then like, oh, how do you contain her?
Yeah, because she came out of the TV. So is she just out and about? Is she, like taking cabs and...
Yeah, and then if all these people watched the video at the same time, like she's busy, So like is she killing all of them like at the same time?
She does because she checks the time. They're 10 p.m.
10 p.m. So like, how is she killing all of them at the same time? Like that's
right.
Like
But she's just But how can she live in a well after dying?
Yeah. Also, I feel like she could. I mean, obviously her body's down there, but like. Can she? I mean, I guess she does come up and
she has to, but it's really not her body. It's right. It's like more of her spirit. See, this is where
this is
where I guess it doesn't end up scaring me. Is because
you start to,
I see the faults.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
You see that the well topper, if there is a ring around it, it would have fallen in.
Right.
So
exactly.
It's like
I did expect her to crawl up the well. What movie is that? Is that The Grudge?
No.
Isn't there like kind of a
scary? But that's like The Grudge. But like, I also know what you're talking about because I also remember a movie where someone with dark hair over their face crawled up something. But I don't. I mean, I guess The Grudge does crawl like down the stairs.
Maybe that's it. Is it like all fours kind of?
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
of.
But like I remember an actual like well.
Yeah.
A lot of the podcasts also talked about how slow the movie is and how it's more of a thriller of just like, here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. And then you get to the end and you're like, we did it. We put, Samara in, she's buried, her spirit's free.
Yeah. She's finally loved.
Yeah. And then the ex-boyfriend, who's the father of the son, which I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I'd be a terrible father. He's like, okay, whatever. We don't need you.
Don't need
I have a clipboard.
Yeah.
I'm 6 and I have a clipboard. I don't need you. I'm better than you. I make sandwiches, But he, like, the dad's at his photo studio and he starts, the TV turns on and that was honestly terrifying. I knew it was coming, but like it was way more scary to see it actually happen in that order
and to come out right out of the TV. Yeah. And I think why this did scare me as a kid was I loved my TV.
Yeah.
And I didn't want anyone demonizing my TV.
Yeah, which they did in the beginning. Also, too, they're like
they were very hard on TVs.
The
Little did they
eyes.
know screens were not going away. They're just
they're
getting closer, and they're everywhere.
and they're worse.
They're way worse
yeah,
than what I
I
had.
can't see anymore.
No,
My eyes, the eye fatigue is bad.
I have been like having to, the whole trombone joke as when people get older, they're like, oh, I'm playing the trombone. But I haven't been having to do that. And I made my font bigger on my phone because I was noticing I was tensing like this.
Oh, God.
So I made it so I can hopefully relax my eyebrows a little bit if I make the font bigger.
I feel that. I feel like I'm always doing this. I also don't know if I can, if I'm like need glasses or if I'm fine. Because every time I go to the doctor, they're always like, you have 20/20 vision. I'm like, okay, but why is it blurry when I drive at night? But I'm like, maybe I just need them at night. But then they're like,
are you drinking? That could be it.
You know what? I have like 9 drinks before I drive every time, so that probably
is the reason. Yeah,
probably should settle down. Yeah, I'm surprised I'm alive and I stay on the road.
Me too.
Yeah,
maybe you're a ghost, and that's who's doing horror at the store.
You know what? No one's ever actually seen me out of the Comedy Store. So
I haven't.
Yeah. Shit. Is this where I find out?
I mean, do ghosts know they're in a ghost? Yes, of course.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they
sometimes
don't.
they're sometimes I'm trying to think of Casper. He knew.
But like if I'm thinking of also like the paranormal shows I've watched.
Oh,
sometimes they like the Ocean Gate people. They probably like will be, if they're, if there's ghosts with that, if their spirits are, they probably don't know what happened.
Well, and there's probably a lot down there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of spirits.
Yeah.
So, and there's not a normal human to say you're a spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there's no lot living around you, that's how you don't know.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Marino.
Yeah.
Marino. Any final thoughts about The Ring?
You saying as a thriller kind of made sense why I maybe liked it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just a journalist trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can take this.
Yeah.
And I think Naomi Watts was really fun to watch. And I am sort of interested, like, to maybe watch the second one. Since Rings has 2%, like, I can't. That makes me not want to keep going a little bit, but also does make me want to keep going. Yeah. Because it's so bad.
Yeah. Well, there's Ring 2 before Rings.
Right.
So, you at least you have a film to like.
Do you think Ring 2, I mean, how do you.
I've never
haven't heard it.
I haven't seen it. I haven't heard anything about it. So but I know there's a lot of like short films. And then the original Japanese film, I've heard that
would probably really scary.
Is terrifying. I think the person who directed this, if I read it correctly, he bought the rights to write the American version like as soon as he saw it in theaters.
Wow.
So they've been working about it. He's like, this is going to be insane. And besides it, in 2017, Ring was the largest opening of a
wow. Like a horror or scary?
No, what's when there's a movie and then you adaptation? No.
Oh, a remake.
Yeah, a remake. Yeah, is the largest remake in history, and then it surpassed it. So that's why you got all those remakes in the early 2000s.
Right, like The Grudge.
Yeah, like The Grudge.
More. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I really liked it, and I feel very like strong. I conquered my fear of The Ring, and I'm fine.
Yeah, you did it.
I did have to watch a lot of Golden Girls after.
Okay.
Like I did say, I wasn't scared. I mean, I wasn't. It's not that I was scared. It's just I got scared that I would get scared.
Okay.
Which is enough.
Yeah, you kind of like psyched yourself.
I psyched myself.
Yeah.
And I was fine when I was in my bedroom, but it was when I had to go to the bathroom that I was like.
Because you don't know what's going to be in the bathroom.
No.
You don't know if that plumbing is going to be
plumbing.
Yeah.
So, and there, the hair, my own hair in the drain.
Yeah.
I don't, it's mine.
You don't know if you're like going to pull something out of your mouth.
Yeah. And that was bothersome when she was pulling, that was maybe the worst part.
Yeah.
Was when she was pulling the hair out of the mouth.
It wasn't, I thought it was hair. It was the
oh, you're right. It was the little thing that they put on her, like
when you're
psychiatric patient,
and they put the little sticky things on you with the wires.
Yeah, that's what that was. But it definitely looked like hair.
Yeah, I thought it.
Time.
I think the Grudge did more hair than that. So that's why those two usually get intermixed and stuff. Also, one more thing, the ring can also be it could be, you know, the ring that you see on top of like the video and stuff and under the well, or it could be the phone.
Yes, I like that. That's smart. That's fun. I did, you know, I know it was a lot of supernatural, but I was like, how's she getting on the phone?
Yeah.
How's she knowing everybody's numbers?
Yeah. And then like you see her room and I'm like,
yeah,
with the world's tallest ladder.
Tallest ladder way up high up there. Yeah, and I didn't see a phone in there, so I don't know how she's I do like that there's a phone right here though.
Thank you. It's real.
It is, but it's
Connected.
not.
You have 7 days.
There's a oh god. You should get a little voice thing that when a guest picks it up, it says 7 days.
Yeah,
That's
7
funny.
days.
That's funny. You should do that. Work on that.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll do that. I'll see if you know with the upcoming changes with the podcast, if we can get maybe some money for it.
That'd be great.
That'd be amazing. So out of 10, what do you think?
Like, and for me personally, like, you know, this was a 5.
Okay.
Just like, cause I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
But it's not for me.
Yeah.
So it's a 5.
Yeah.
I'm sure in like, like to me, The Shining was so much better.
Yeah.
And that's maybe a dumb thing to say, but I just mean like that is a little bit more for me than The Ring, but I still was I was cared. I mean, I Googled after.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I was scared to go to the bathroom. So
that's so
it worked.
Yeah.
It did
and you also like your childhood fear, you
conquered it.
And it's also, I think it's almost better that you're like, you know what? It wasn't that scary.
So much better.
And it's that's, you know, a 5.
I'm healed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Therapy, full circle.
I know. Once again.
Wow. I will also say a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I do think it was really slow, and I think we needed to see a little bit more of like the backstory with the mom and have those like little things, you know, and I would have loved to see what Samara actually does to people. But, you know. Oh, well.
You can hope it's answered in The Rings.
Yeah. Probably not, but, you know, probably really terrible. But, you know.
Yeah.
So is life.
That's all we got.
So is everything. That's okay.
You can't have it all answered.
You can't. You can't. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Macey.
Katie.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're a delight.
Thank you. So you feel like out of 10, this podcast.
Oh, this
episode.
This episode, this is a solid 10.
Is it?
It's a solid 10.
Okay,
yeah.
I mean, we'll see what listeners think, but
I mean, you know,
but from you, that means a lot.
You know, you're always so fun to be on, and I would be honest, I would have been like, this is like a 3.
Oh, okay,
you know,
yeah, I'm sure you'd be honest.
Yeah, I'd be like, this is a 3. This is the worst thing I've ever done, you know. But like, no.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. It's also like, if you had said 9, I think that it would have, you know, given me room to grow.
Okay.
And I like that you didn't give me room to grow. You're saying
like, nope.
You're good as you are.
Don't change a thing.
Don't change.
Honestly, just stop.
You've reached your limit.
You've reached your limit. I think you've peaked, and this is all downhill from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've seen it here.
This
my
is
peak.
This is your peak. I love that. I love that I was here for that.
You know what's good about the peak, though, is you know how people talk about how it's downhill from there as if it's bad? I prefer going down.
Yeah.
Easier.
Yeah. Easier. It's easier. Yeah. Sometimes you can slide.
That's right. Just sit down. Go down on a skateboard.
I love that. That'd be really fast.
It would be fast.
I'm picturing like a really steep hill, but
yeah, and I guess really steep is hard to go down, but I'd rather go down than up something steep.
Yeah. Obviously.
Right.
It's foolish of me. Oh my God. Well, again, thank you so much for having being here. Me. And now's the time where you plug all your things. Oh, well, you can follow me on Instagram at Macey Isaacs, MaceyIsaacs. Come see me do a show. I'm posting about it there. Yeah, do all the fun shows. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Of course. And guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you see a videotape on your car, throw it away. Don't. watch it.
Or just use it to put a key on for a public restroom.
Yes, especially
because no one will lose it, even though someone put it on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, guys, we will see you next time. Bye. Thank you to our sponsor, Filmcraft Studio Gear. You can find all their cool gear at filmcraftla.com or on Instagram at filmcraftla.